What is up, viewers? Welcome to the Odd Jobs Garage. Do I have something special for you? Check this out. This is my Ford E150 Chateau. And what we're gonna do is put a 5-inch lift and 33-inch tall tires on this. I know what you're thinking. That's awesome. You're correct. So this lift kit is from Weldtec Designs, and they say it's a simple kit that you can do in your driveway with some basic tools. So we're gonna put that to the test. Let's see if just one guy, who apparently has no friends, can knock this out by himself in his backyard. Let's jump in the garage and see what we're working with. Okay, this is our Weldtec Designs Baja Grocery Getter Kit. We have the new bent I-beams, some springs from Skyjacker, Fox shocks front and rear, some Weldtec custom radius arms. You have some brackets to weld onto the frame. In the back we have some blocks and new U-bolts. All right, let's take a look at these wheels and tires. Oh yeah. We have some Falcon Wild Peak ATs and some American Racing Baja. That's gonna look pretty good. All right, we're about to get started, but I just wanted to go over everything you need before you do this project. So just let's look at the sockets. You're gonna need a 10 mil, 15, 18, 19, 21, 24, inch and an eighth, 30 mil socket. Okay, you're gonna need a decent sized ratchet, a 24 mil wrench. You're gonna need a big set of jack stands to hold up your van. You're gonna need a grinder to grind to bare metal on your frame where you weld up the new brackets. You're gonna need to mark those brackets with a paint pen or Sharpie. Measure them with a tape measure. You're gonna need a hammer to free up some loose bolts. You're gonna need a pliers for a cotter pin. Obviously a jack, and that's it. And how could I forget the MVP? The breaker bar. Okay, so halfway through I broke down and got an impact gun. I mainly got it to use the ball joint press, but once I had it, it was awesome. So just go ahead and get one. Well, maybe one more thing. You do not have to have one. You can easily measure these brackets and take them to a shop and they can weld them right in. But if you have it and you're comfortable doing it, I got this Hobart Handler 140 MIG welder, and I am determined to weld these things on myself. This is a simple lift kit. Not necessarily saying it's easy, but it's simple. You back some bolts out, take some parts off, put some parts back on, fasten them back in. Just take your time and don't get frustrated. Got it. All right, before we jack it up and get this lift and tires on here, let's get a before and after ride height. Right to the bottom of the black trim is 49 inches. Let's go to the back. 51 and a half. Let's measure it right over the middle of the wheel. I'm gonna call that 32 and a half. Oh wait, what happened to my jack stands? Oh. Yeah, I didn't like those 4 tons, so I got some 6 tons. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is get this sway bar out. So those are 15 mil nuts right there. I'm pretty sure it just pulls right out of the I-beam, so we'll see how that goes. Got a pin. See if we can do this in one. Oh, 1, 2, 2 and a half. So to separate the tie rod end from the steering knuckle, I started using a pickle fork, but was really worried I was going to tear up this bushing. Tear up that bushing. So I ran to Napa and picked up this Pitman arm separator for under 20 bucks. That worked. We're gonna be very lucky if that crappy little piece of wire holds. It scares me every time. Something like that. Okay, now we're moving. This is the brake line going to your brakes. This is a speed sensor. And so there's some retaining clips. So you can separate this. And what that's gonna let you do is pull your caliper off to the side. And that should actually unclip this whole rotor, and knuckle should be able to move out of the way. Whereas the caliper is just gonna hang over here. All right, calipers. The ABS control, I don't know, basically I'm just unplugging it. All right, it just pulls apart. So, yeah. This is an 18 mil for the bottom shock mount on the E150. There's no quid in you? We got some quid in you. Okay. I don't know about this guy right here. We're just gonna fill that up. And be a PB blaster. You good? All right, shake it off. Have a beer. All right, 15 mil on the eccentric. All right, let's get into this quarter pin here. Yep. There we go. Oh, that wasn't so bad. So don't back the lower ball joint nut all the way out yet, because we're about to bang on the steering knuckle with a hammer, and that's what's going to catch it. You're also going to want to remove your caster camber nut before you start banging to help it free out easy. And out you go. Yep, that's heavy. Ugh. All right, just give you a little update on the van. We are ready to take off the I-beams and radius arms and weld the new brackets onto the frame, put it all back together. So it's come a long way. One side goes slow and the other side goes real fast once you kind of figure it out. So if I did this van again, I could do it pretty quick. It's just, I'm really excited to put it all back together, see how she drives. I had to go to the store and get a deeper 30 mil. All right, we are back in action. Oh boy, that's a lot of bow in that wrench. Oh yeah. Oh! Right in the shin. Good, great, grand. Okay, we have one loose. I don't feel like I can even get to the other one necessarily. What do you do about the oil pan? How do I attack this one? So we're gonna try to sneak this wrench in here. Yeah. Is that enough? Oh, it's barely holding. Oh my gosh. Oh! Yeah, we're on there. Good now. Look how it's held on there. It was holding on just fine. It was just pinching it off. Oh. Just roll it out. Ah. Ow. Let's get you out. Let's get you out. Come on out. We're out. There goes my back. Okay, the last thing I took off the van was the radius arm. Well, then I realized that was really super stupid because 3 15 mil bolts right here, and out come the bracket and the radius arm too. So I did an unnecessary step there. So while I had all this taken apart, I had all the steering knuckles off. I went ahead and put in new ball joints and new wheel bearings. I really recommend, since you got all this stuff off, especially if it's as old as what was on my van. I did a screenshot from the YouTube video, the YouTube installation video that Weldtec does, with just lining out all my bushings. So I'm gonna take my bushing kit here. Sleeve here. I'm gonna hit one of these. Okay, this one, the concave guy, big washer. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so we're going sleeve first. And this thing, this one, and it goes like this. This goes on, and this lip goes to the front of the vehicle. Now we're gonna lift this up, sneak it in there. And I'm gonna take this one, and this beveled lip goes in here. So apparently that's it. We're gonna lock this down to compress all this together. Then when it comes down to the final assembly, we're gonna back this nut out, Loctite it, put our lock washer on, replace the nut, and wrench it down real tight. This was the one that was hypercritical, that the bolt go that way, and the nut on this side for clearance sake. I think they're both just get the nut away from the other one. Way. And I brought along the crescent because I had to sneak in here. Crescent. I can barely get this nut on the bolt, so perfect. Mr. Crescent, he's stuck. Ta-da! Alright, the I-beams are both bolted into the frame. Now let's go get the driver's side radius arm. Alright, got a flat disc. This is 40 grit. Alright, here's the bolt that goes between the radius arm and the I-beam. And with the E150, you get this little spacer. And I'm not even sure where it goes, so when I put them together, I will see. So I found out I had the spacer in wrong. It actually goes just below the I-beam and right above the bottom knuckle of the radius arm. And it should look like this when you're done. He says hooked inside of that. I think it says for 35s go 9.5 to 9 3/4, and for 33s, which I'm running, go a full 10 inches. I feel like no matter what, you can grind more from the bumper than you can from the wheel well on the back. So I feel like the instinct is to go forward. So I'm gonna shoot for that 9 3/4, I think. This is just so I know where to grind. It's ugly, but it's on there.
Today, if you're far away, I know that pain. It tends to play. Why not with FanDuel?
Great. Did you notice that I forgot the lock washer? I did, like a day later. Very cool. The new shocks were not fitting, and I realized I just needed to cut the factory shock bushing and tear it out of there. I could not get the shock to fit in the lower mounting bracket, so grab a crescent wrench and pry those tabs open. Wonderful. Come here. Leave it. Here's a little update today. We have the radius arm, the I-beams, the shocks, the springs are all in. So now all we have to do is put our whole steer knuckles back on, rotors, caliper, and then throw the wheels on, and we are rolling. We're gonna do the back in another video, but we're also gonna drive around with a squat for a minute just for fun. So let's jump in the shop and get some of our components ready to go back on here. But this is just gonna do things like that. See that block? That's actually a block. Got me down here. Please do that. Yeah.
But more than that, they just...
So I will admit I did have some pretty good rubbing issues all around when I finished this thing, but that's for another video. In the meantime, just look how good this van looks finished. I finished the Baja Grocery getter. Really? And there she is. We have completed the Weldtec Design Baja Grocery Getter 5-inch kit. These Falcon Wild Peak ATs and American Racing Baja wheels look so good together. So if you order this kit and you have the E150, they're gonna send you a spacer, and it goes below the I-beam and right above the bottom knuckle of the radius arm. Now let's measure all our same measurements before. This was 49, that was 49 to the window trim. This was 51 and a half, and that is at 57. This was 32 and a half, so now that is 40. That is a huge jump. So just under 7 inches here, 6 in the back. This is 8 inches higher than when I started. The 150 sat a little lower, and I think I probably had some smaller tires on it. Hooked on the leading edge of that body mount per the instructions. I'm 10 inches back. And I'm gonna tell you, I had some clearance issues. I had to cut out a notch. I'm gonna try to actually fill that back in. Now on the passenger side, I was a little less than 10 inches, maybe by an 1/8. I'm not telling you where to measure or what to do, but if I was doing it over again, I would hook this body mount and I would go 9 7/8 to the leading edge of my bracket. This side did not rub on the fender, the other side did. Both of them slightly rubbed on the bumper, just on the plastic, and it was very easy to cut away at that. So that's it for part 1. I'm also gonna do a video for the rear lift. I also did an alignment, and I fixed some rubbing issues, so look out for all that coming soon. Hey, if you're doing this same kit yourself and have any questions, leave a comment. I'll try to answer them as best I can, or just tell you how I did it. And as always, thanks for watching.